start on the professional side. First of all, how do you become a CEO? If you look back to your career, was any key events that made you successful, made you a leader, that you can say, wait, I did that?
Yes, it's, if you Google CEO school, I think it's one of the first things that you're not going to find on Google, right?
It's a lot of dropouts.
And so for me, I was really blessed from, this is only my second real professional job. If I discount the fact that I mopped floors, when I got to the US and sold some vacuum cleaners door to door back in the day. This is only my second real job. My first real job was with Sealed Air Corp, the company that invented the bubble wrap back in the day.
Some of them will be
and, and it was an amazing journey because I joined Sealed Air when it had about 78 million in revenue and about 400 employees. And when I left Sealed Air nearly 23 years later, I was one of the top 4 guys. The company had over 5 billion in revenue and about 18,000 employees. And I had about 3 really good mentors. And so, I think that to be a leader, to be a CEO, to be a leader, some of it you don't learn, some of it you possess. And we either squander it and not use it, or we learn how to harness it. But the rest comes from having good guides, good mentors, and some amazing experiences. I was blessed to have 3 outstanding mentors to whom I'm still grateful to this day, because I know that but for their mentorship, I wouldn't be half the man that I am. And then I had some amazing experiences. I always raised my hand to take assignments, even when they were kind of lateral assignments, not progressive assignments. I went to Europe twice. I worked in Asia Pacific for a few years. I went from engineering to marketing to sales to operations to managing regions. And so I was also blessed to be in a company that needed talent, in a company that was a high growth company and an expansion company, and a company that was willing to take a chance on a short guy with funny accent, that was willing to go do all these things. And I was also lucky. A lot of people look at our success and they think that somehow, it's all us. I'm blessed to have amazing people, and I've always had amazing people that journeyed with me. I'm blessed to have an amazing wife. I couldn't do half of what I'm doing if I didn't have that kind of backbone. And I'll tell you a funny story. When I got the call to come look at this job, I was actually in London doing budgets for next year, visiting my units in the UK, and I got this phone call from a headhunter that told me, Avi, your name came up, you were recommended, there is this company in California, blah, 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 they're on the verge of bankruptcy, but the technology is very interesting. So I did the whole due diligence, and I went to my wife and I said, hey, look, I've been with Sealed Air for almost 23 years. It's very comfortable, it's very familiar. I'm one of the top guys. I can retire here. On the other hand, there is this company that I feel that all of my preparation in life prepared me to go do it. But I said, honey, if I take this job, I may be out on my ass in a year. There may not be. When I joined 3D, we didn't have enough cash to finish the year. The first thing that I had to do was get down on my knees and call all of my suppliers and introduce myself and tell them that I couldn't pay them. And that I will, if they will believe in me, but that they had no reason to believe in me because they don't know me. So my wife said to me, she said, here's the deal, Avi. If you don't take this job, I don't think I'll be able to live with you because you will forever torture and torment yourself for passing on this opportunity. So she gave me permission to do it. And that was huge because the first few years, it was really, really tough. And when we became a profitable and a growth company, sure that we would ever hit it because many people thought that the window for 3D printing kind of came and went.
Still there.
So being lucky and having good mentors and being surrounded by good people that love you enough to tell you when you're full of shit.
Definitely, I am surrounded by a lot of people that any failure you want to share with us? Any big mistake you wish you would not have done?
The reality is that my resume of failures is long. What is unique about it is that I'm quick to recognize my failures, so I don't allow them to fester. And I talk about my failures openly. One of the things that you talk about culture, we talked about culture before. One of the things that I like to do is I like to celebrate failures because there's a lot of learning and we pay the tuition. Right? We pay the tuition to learn the lesson. And so I made some mistakes in hiring. And the mistake wasn't that I hired wrong, the mistake was that I didn't fire fast enough. And I didn't fire fast enough because I'm a passionate person.
Yep.
But the lesson in all of that is, there is never a good time to make a difficult decision. And by the time that I know that it needs to be made, everybody in my organization knows. And the person that's going to be impacted knows. And it's actually more compassionate to do it quickly than not. I'm not cured from some of my mistakes. It's work in progress. It's a journey. I made some mistakes by underestimating the complexity of working on multiple big initiatives at the same time, and by overestimating my bench strength and not realizing that the collective wisdom and expertise wasn't there to pull it off. And as long as I can continue to be honest with myself and be open to feedback from others, I hope that I will make more mistakes because that's how I learn.
Very nice. All right, so switching to the personal life. Obviously you have a very busy job, but what do you do outside of work? Do you have any hobbies?
I do a lot of things because I have to say that my name is Avi Reichental and I'm a workaholic. and I'm a workaholic because I love what I do and I do what I love. And that was one of the best advices that my father gave me many years ago. Let him rest in peace. He said to me when I was about 5 or 6 years old, he said, "Son, if you find something that you're really passionate about, it will never feel like war." I didn't understand it at the time, but he was right. But I also learned that it's important to pay it forward. So I teach. I'm on the faculty of Singularity University with Ray Kurzweil and Peter Diamandis, and we teach primarily C-level students about the disruption of exponential technologies. I am one of the trustees of the Cooper Hewitt National Design Museum, which is one of the Smithsonian museums. We just opened it a few weeks ago after 3 years of renovation. I'm on the board of a recovery home in Los Angeles for alcoholics, drug addicts, and hardcore criminals. It's called Veitshuva. I work with the National Children Oral Health Organization. It's called the American Tooth Fairy, to provide underserved kids with dental hygiene and services. I'm on the X Prize Foundation's Innovation Board, which is a very exciting thing. And after I do all of that, I like horses, and I have a few, so I love that. There's nothing
You're riding them.
Riding them. There's nothing more beautiful for me than taking an early morning or a late afternoon trail ride, just experience the beauty of the universe. I like sailing, I like downhill skiing, although my knees are not cooperating as much as they used to. I like good food, and I like good wine, and I like people. I like people. I like to learn with and from people. And by doing all these things, I think that it actually re-energizes me to be even more productive at what I do. I sleep very little. I sleep about 5 hours a night.
That's a long night.
I figure that the rest I will catch up when I'm permanently asleep.
I think about it the same way. There'll be millions of humans.
And that life is not about the destination. The destination is identical for all of us. So it's about the journey.
Very nice. Any music that you like the most, or books that you want to recommend?
I have a very eclectic taste in music. I like rock and roll. One of my favorite bands of all time is the Steve Miller Band. But I'm into no applause for the Steve Miller Band. And actually, it's funny, I've been listening to the Steve Miller Band since I was a teenager, and a couple of years ago, I actually got to meet their lead bass player, Kenny Lee Lewis, and we became friends. And now he comes and he hangs out with us all the time and plays. This is like, amazing. I like Yemenite music because my stepmother is from Yemen, and so I grew up with it in weddings and in bar mitzvahs, and so I like Yemenite music. I like Brazilian music. I like jazz. I'm not big on hip hop.
Okay, so now you know.
Yeah. Books. Couple of good books that I actually keep by my bedside. One is called Sacred Housekeeping. It's written by a dear friend of mine, Harriet Rosetta, who started this Jewish rehab in Los Angeles about 29 years ago. And it's all about how to show up every day as a responsible human being.
What is the Jewish rehab? Everybody get together and blame their mother? Or
this is up to this kind of view. I mean, it's interesting because it's a Jewish rehab we take everybody. It's not about being Jewish.
No.
But what was interesting in Los Angeles 20, 30 years ago is that the Jews were in denial that they had problems with drinking and drugging and criminality. And the reality is that as Jews, the statistics are equal. These kinds of human conditions don't differentiate and distinguish between races or positions or ranks. And so, anyway, her book is about wrestling with the human condition. It's not about addiction. It's about how do we wrestle with all the parts of ourselves and show up as a coordinated and integrated human being. The other book I just got, it's written by my good friend Peter Diamandis, who started X Prize and Singularity and a bunch of other things, and it's called Bold. And Bold is about exponential entrepreneurship and what it takes to actually be a successful entrepreneur in this day and age. So I recommend both of them highly.
Very good. And now a question that in a serious way got to be a tradition here. Any movies you recommend?
Besides Debbie Does Dolls? Yes, I actually...
Was that the yes on Debbie or
no? That was just, to make sure that I understood the gist of the tradition.
Yes.
That I'm carrying on the tradition.
Yes.
I recently saw the movie. It's one of the Oscar-nominated movies. It's called The Imitation Game, and it's a very serious movie, and it's about not just the Herculean effort that Brits put into cracking the code on Enigma and shortening World War II, but it's a beautiful movie about how they then went and penalized the guy that cracked it because he happened to be a homosexual. And I think that it was a very, and at the end I don't want to spoil the movie, but at the end he commits suicide. And it's a true story, and it's extremely well documented and superbly acted. And I don't have any investment in the movie, except that it really touched me to the point of tears. So I highly recommend it.
Right. So you passed the question of movies. Anything else I was supposed to ask you, or you wanted to say?
I heard something, some rumor that you guys were discussing this acronym GPS all week.
You heard that too?
Yeah. Okay. A little bird whispered in my ear. So I was going to say, hey, why don't you just go print something?
You came very prepared for this, including the history.
I am a good coach.
Very good. Avi, it was phenomenal. We learned a lot. I learned a lot. I enjoyed a lot. Thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Avi. And now, as promised, a Cube 3 printer